Last week we looked at the definition of a hypocrite. And why did I think this was so important? Because we as believers in Messiah need to understand that one of the commandments tells us that we should not take the name of the Lord our God in vain. And the word name in Hebrew, one of my favorite words, and it's Shem, and it means inner character and access to. And what I want you to understand, what I interpret that commandment to mean, is that we should not take for a minute for granted the privilege that we have to be called children of God through faith in Messiah Yeshua, right? Now, that's one part. But the other part of this is that we need to be careful that we reflect the name, nature, and character of the God that we serve. So think of it as a bride. We take the name of our bridegroom, which means that we now carry his identity with us everywhere we go. And if we walk as hypocrites, if we oppress other people, pretending to be a part of the covenant or using the terms of the covenant to hold other people down, we are violating the commandment to not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. And this is a terrible thing for God's people to do. So the first question today is, when God points something out in my life, do I usually feel open to it? Am I unsure about it? Or do I try to avoid it? When the Bible talks about light, it means that truth that helps us see clearly. Sometimes that light feels encouraging. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable. Before we hear what Isaiah and Yeshua say, let's think honestly about how we respond to that light. The second question, when I think about hypocrisy, do I usually notice it more in others, or do I see ways it can show up in my own life? You know, last week we spent time understanding what Scripture means by hypocrisy. Today we're going to see how Isaiah and Yeshua deal with it. Before we hear that, let's pause and think honestly about where we tend to see the problem. Now the third question. Who are the people God has placed in my life that I care about or have influence over? All of us influence someone at home, at work, at church, or in daily life. So before we hear how Isaiah and Yeshua speak to people with influence, let's think about our own role.